Hi everybody, and welcome to this webinar, part of my webinar series. My name is Louise Plant. I'm a master herbalist, holistic nutritionist, part of the Raw and Real Relationships movement, encouraging people to be more connected to themselves and to others and to share the love. So today we're just talking about sleep and the importance of sleep and why sleep is so important to us. So we're looking in this webinar about, why sleep's important, what issues can be connected to having a lack of sleep, what actually is sleep, the different stages of sleep, sleeping positions, getting to sleep, and just getting some assistance and help with getting to sleep, because insomnia and issues with sleeping can be a big issue for many, many people. So if you have problems sleeping, or you want to know more about sleeping, or want to know how it helps you to stay healthy having good quality sleep, then this webinar would be for you to listen to. Or even if you'd like to know, what positions you sleep in and what that means, then you will find information in this webinar that will be interesting for you. So the reality is that we spend about 1/3 of our life asleep. So that's a lot of time sleeping, hence the importance of having healthy pillows and a nice comfortable bed, so you can actually be spending 1/3 of your life in a very comfortable way of sleeping. I'm a bit fussy about my bed and my mattress, and when I had my mattress, I had a mattress specially made for me. I had it made with organic cotton and latex, because to me that was the healthiest option of having sleep. Sure enough, it cost me a lot of money at the time, but it was so worth it because we spend 1/3 of our life asleep. Reason I don't like sort of conventional mattresses is because they're often sprayed with chemicals. Because we're spending 1/3 of our life asleep, we're actually breathing in those chemicals through that, While we're asleep, we're breathing that in, so we can even be exposed to toxins in our sleep. So when we do have a good sleep, it will rejuvenate us, it will recharge the body. We do our cleansing and detoxifying at night, hence why people who are shift workers and things like that can have a lot of issues in not feeling healthy and happy while they sleep. Sleep will also repair damaged tissue. We grow, and you can see that in babies. They go to sleep and then they wake up and they grow. But it also helps to sort and store everything, all our experiences. It's a very good processing, growing and healing time. So what led me to do these webinars? Basically, it's a way of touching more lives. I'm a content queen. I've got lots of information, been teaching for over 20 years, and really just wanting to get this information out to people in a wider scale. So, I love seeing people awaken. I love seeing them healthier and happier. I do transformational seminars called Vitae Amor seminars. People fly in to come and attend our seminars. So, if you want to have some change in your life, then maybe check them out. So here are just some testimonials about the seminars that I run. Gary said he feels a lot clearer about the next 5 years of his path, and he's more centered. And his testimonial to other people was just do it. Corinne, she had immense gratitude for the whole experience, for her aims and her sharings. She loved the team and she liked to dig deep, and everyone was with her. She felt very safe through the workshop. And she said that after 6 years of personal growth workshops, it's been one of the most powerful and life-changing. So a big thank you to us and the team. And Kimberly said, it's a life-changing experience. I came here to release hurt from the past and learn how to deal with difficult situations. It's been truly amazing and has been significantly better than what I was expecting. I have never gained anything like it, experienced anything like it before, and I'm so grateful to have. I would recommend this to everybody. So that's part of the work I do. So just let's get back to sleep. Okay, so there are lots of connections between sleep deprivation and disease. Today we can be sick because we do not sleep. We can become overweight through not sleeping, and even conditions like diabetes can affect us if we're not sleeping. We're dying from cancer and heart disease and stroke. Also, these can be connected to poor sleep, either poor quality sleep or not enough sleep or rest. So when we look at some of the 1950s information where they talk about nature cure, which I'm very interested in, I follow quite a bit of, you know, part of their therapy that they used and they followed was rest and recuperation. So it was very important to have adequate recuperation and have adequate rest. Very, very important. So that was all very much part of that. So it's something we don't tend to look at now. We have such busy and chaotic lifestyles and often not enough time to do anything. So we're really often looking for, you know, effective and efficient ways of achieving what it is we want to achieve. But when it comes to sleep, we can't rush that. Sleep is something that needs to have quality time in doing so. So it is deemed that potentially 80% of diseases can be related to sleep disorders, depression, spinal degeneration, irritable bowel, attention deficit disorders, autoimmune diseases, fibromyalgia, and even chronic fatigue can be attributed to poor quality sleep or lack of sleep. So let's assume we get basically 6 to 7 hours of good quality sleep, though many of us do actually need 7 to 8 hours, but we actually end up getting 4 to 5. So, you know, we think, you know, so really 7 to 8, 7 is a good amount of hours to get to sleep. Now, there's different quality sleep from early sleep to late sleep. If we are asleep between 9 and 1 o'clock in the morning, that's a far better quality sleep and can sometimes even be attributed to being equivalent to 2 hours sleep. So I've noticed that I am going to bed early. I'd go to bed 11:30. Now I go to bed 10:30, and I will get up even 2 hours earlier because I'm just getting that better quality sleep and I just feel better in the morning. So if people are snoring, okay, that's impairing the quality of their sleep, and also sleep apnea. So, you know, not being able to breathe while you sleep is an issue, or sleep, you know, waking you up, as well as insomnia. Some of us are light sleepers, some of us are heavy sleepers. I'm a very light sleeper. My partner's a very heavy sleeper. So, and part of that, you know, women would predominantly be more lighter sleepers because we're the ones that have the children. You know, the slightest movement or something happening in the house, we will actually see that and perceive that and hear that. Yeah, as a general rule. So work hours now have gone from 27 to 48 hours a week. So we're working longer. Our leisure time has gone down, but then some of that leisure time we believe is spending watching TV and driving in traffic, which isn't leisure time. So we're not spending as much active time. We're not spending as much time being creative, expressing ourselves, doing sports and that sort of stuff. So we are focused on blaming health and behavioural ills on the food, nutrition and lack of exercise, whereas one of the main problems also is lack of sleep. So it's really important that we get good quality sleep. So why is sleep important? Basically, it communicates environmental clues as well as the messages from the symbiotic organisms inside the body to the nervous system, which then use neurotransmitters to communicate within the nervous cells. So I'll put that in plain English. Basically, all the communication messages and the signals going to and from the body, you know, the whole nervous system is basically happening very much while we sleep. So, you know, all information comes through our 6 senses: sight, smell, touch, taste, sound, and then also, you know, how our 6th sense of feeling, as well as the movement receptors between the joints. So, you know, so information comes in, we process the information, we integrate it. The integrating system is the brain, and the brain needs basically a good balanced pH, so the body's not too acidic. It needs oxygen, it needs activation, so, you know, action. It needs energy, fuel from food, water, sleep, and the circadian rhythm to actually be functioning. So sleep is a part of the whole brain processing of information. So, of course, if one of those things is affected, then that can very much be a part of that. And sleep is one of those important factors. Sleep also controls appetite. There are 2 hormones which regulate our sleep patterns. These hormones also govern the immune system and the reproductive system. So melatonin and prolactin. So these are controlled by light and dark cycles. They also control leptin and insulin, which is part of metabolism. So it will modulate the major component of the neuroendocrine, so the nerve and glandular system. And all these are very much responsible for appetite. So in plain English, you know, ideally you want to be having good quality sleep, and we want to be having sleep in the dark. If that then is the case, then that's going to help our metabolism to be working efficiently. We're going to be able to absorb, you know, the sugars and break them down and metabolize them a lot easier. So studies have shown that if we have only 4 to 6 hours of sleep, this will affect changes in glucose tolerance, so that the body's not perceiving the sugars in the system and it's not cleaning them up as such. It will affect the glandular system, the endocrine function. And what happens is that the changes that then start happening will basically be similar to advanced age or the early stages of diabetes. So insulin resistance and increased sympathetic activation after less than 1 week. So after less than 1 week of not having adequate sleep or long enough sleep, then you can start showing blood sugar disorders. So, you know, you can see why, you know, mothers with babies that are basically waking regularly and not getting the full stages of sleep can very much be affected by that. And the best thing you can do is actually help them have some sleep. Also, if we're getting sleep deprivation as well, there's a progressive deterioration in our nerve behaviour. There's a deterioration, vigilance, neurocognitive performance and mood. So we'll become more grumpy, we'll become more sad, we're not so alert, and, you know, our coherence is very much affected. So recently I flew back from England, from Europe, to Australia, which is a long flight. The flight over was actually a lot worse, so I wasn't getting deep sleep, and the night before I left I didn't sleep very well at all either. So I didn't have good sleep for about 3 days, and I can tell you it took me a few days to you know, to recover from that. So it is really important. So the other thing that's not, a slide's not on there, is basically about how the body detoxes at certain times. There's a Chinese clock which sort of shows that at certain times the body cleans out and detoxes. You know, the cortisol, all the stress hormones get flooded out the system. The body starts to detox toxins. The liver starts to clean out and detox toxins. So, you know, the reason we want to ideally wake up in the morning and have a, you know, have a poo is because we're cleaning things, toxins out of the system, and that happens at night. So between 1 o'clock and say 7 o'clock in the morning, or 1 and 5 in the mornings, when we're having the optimum detox in our system. So of course, if we're having late nights or we're doing shift work, that's putting that natural body clock out of whack as well. So we're not actually detoxing the system. So we can see that, you know, just to refresh there, that sleep is really important for the nervous system. It's very important for the immune system, for the glandular system, for body detoxification, you know, for heart rhythm, for mood. It's many factors. So probably one of the, you know, when I'm doing consults with people, one thing I always look at is the sleep. How easily do you go to sleep? Do you wake up in the middle of the night? Do you find it easy to go back to sleep? So that questions I will commonly ask. And getting good quality sleep will be one of the first things that I'll be wanting to address. So what is sleep? Sleep is a natural state of rest characterized by reduced body movement and increased awareness of our surroundings. It is distinguished from other sleep-like states, so it is different from hibernation or coma, because it can be easily interrupted by, say, loud noise. So that is the definition of it. So there are many stages of it. So the first stage of sleep is stage 1. This is where we're basically going into a deeper sleep. And sometimes you can almost liken stage 1 to like a meditative state. So you can be easily awakened by this, and I'm sure we've all experienced it, where you just feel yourself going to sleep and then suddenly you'll jerk awake. So there's a basically electrical activity going to the brain. And we've all experienced that. So we can be easily awakened. They just call this the gateway to sleep. So that baby there looks very asleep. Stage 2 is a lot deeper. This is where we get hypogogic imagery. And we start the beginning of the rapid, non-rapid eye movement. So we just then fall into a deeper sleep. Some great deep sleep pictures of the animals there. Stage 3 is a very deep stage of sleep. Here things start to relax, the heart rate slows down, blood pressure starts to fall, and your breathing becomes steady. So some people can quite easily go from a stage 1 to a stage 3. I don't know, when I had the kids and I was wanting them to go to sleep, that sometimes, you can lie down with them and mimic or imitate that deep breathing, and then that would help them get into that state. So you're now in Sleepy Town. You can, however, be awakened by loud noise or calling out of your name, or physical stimuli, i.e. if your friend is going to poke you in the head with a ruler, which I wouldn't recommend. So then this is stage 4. This is the deepest state of sleep. And here you're dreaming. So, we can have dreams and they feel like they go on for ages, but they can just basically be 5 minutes. Here you'll need to be shaken or have very loud noise to be woken up. So here your blood pressure, your heart rate can actually fluctuate and go up and down. Your brain begins to heat up. So depending on what you're dreaming, like how you're feeling or how stressed it is can be dependent on what's happening then. So the first REM period is often about 10 minutes, and then you'll go back into a normal deep stage 4 sleep. And then you go into another cycle. So we tend to sort of come in and out of REM. So we sort of come in and out of dreaming, and this can continue until we waken up. So what is REM? REM is rapid eye movement. Rapid eye movement sleep is somewhat a contradiction, because yet our bodies are paralysed, though men can have an erection when that's happening, but yet we're asleep, but yet we move our eyes. Here your pulse can rise, the body temperature and the blood pressure can rise. Here we also can breathe faster, and our adrenaline and also digestion, such as gastric juices, can actually start being activated. So on the one hand, we're in a very deep sleep with our bodies very paralysed, but yet there can be a stimulation of certain functioning in the body. So what is essential? There's a big debate about it. So, do we need to know? We just need to know that we need to sleep. If we're derived of REM sleep, then little harm appears to be apparent. But if there is no REM sleep, then that can then link to irritability and loss of mental alertness. So my recommendation would be just to get some good sleep. So there is a direct parallel between body size and REM. Birds spend 1 to 5% of their sleeping time in REM. The longest period of REM is in humans and elephants and the giant sloth. So the oldest land creatures, snakes and reptiles, only have non-REM sleep. So the birds are the next evolved with small amounts, whereas mammals are last evolved and we have considerable REM sleep. So in the scale of evolution on the planet, the more younger we are, the more REM sleep and dreaming we have. Okay, and now onto sleeping positions. We have the fetus position there. So these are a percentage of people sleeping in these positions. So fetus is 41%. That's the most common one. And there are different statistics or percentage on these, so this is just a rough indication. We have the log, we have the yearner, the soldier, the free faller, and the starfish. But sometimes they're known by other names as well. So there was a Professor Chris Izidkowski, sorry if I mispronounced that, who was part of the sleep assessment services, advisory service in Surrey in UK. And he identified 6 common sleep positions and what they are meant. So, you know, we are aware of body language, and when someone's cold or closed, or, you know, if their body language changes according to what's happening. But we also have this subconscious language when we sleep. So fetal position is the most popular sleeping pattern, and 51% of women do like this. The free fall, where you're basically your hands are on the sides of your head, is the most unusual position. So also be aware of the space in the bed that people take up. My partner loves to sleep diagonally and then he likes to take space in the bed. Okay, so fetus position is a very protecting position. And if you look at our internal organs as being, you know, the need to be protecting them, you know, our gut and our belly is our least shielded and protected area. So when you're in fetus, you're actually, you know, cuddling that and hugging that and protecting that. So you can have a strong feel of dependence. So they can be tough on the outside and sensitive in the middle. Shy when they first meet somebody, but they will soon relax. So it's more of a defensive mechanism, though also very comfortable for a lot of people because they feel safe. You know, the more tight you would be and the more you're hugging the pillow, the less secure you would actually be feeling. So depending on if it's an open or closed fetus position. So there is a semi-fetus position, which is not so closed. You're not protecting yourself so much, your heart or your guts. So here there's a bit more stability and balance. People who sleep towards the right side will do things very seriously, but their actions can be slow. They can be sensible, who are well balanced and secure. People who sleep towards the left will do things bravely. How they work that out, I don't know, but I thought it was interesting to share that as well. So the free faller there, the little kitten up there, he's definitely free falling in his biscuits. So here, this is a person who has the mind to occupy the whole bed. They want to grasp things in life in one hand. They can be conservative. They're not easily to handle things that happen accidentally. They do not like criticism or extreme situations. So then there's the king or the royal style. So basically you're just lying flat, supine. So these often are very stable psychologically, self-confident, open-minded and creative. Quite happy personalities, quite easy to control one's manner. They can have compulsive desires to regulate events in their waking lives. But, you know, when you're feeling king, you're open, you're exposed in your sleep because, you know, when we're sleeping, we are vulnerable. We can't, our bodies are paralyzed. We're not able to protect ourselves. So it is a vulnerable time to be sleeping. So if you're fully exposed, then you're obviously feeling quite confident. These people can be regulated and they do not like unexpected surprises. So they like to know what's going on. The criminal style. So this is where the ankle is locked by his or her ankle. So it shows the person is being hindered by something on his or her mind, and worry is reflected by the ankle being put on the other ankle. The sleeping lion or phoenix, don't see that very often, though I have seen toddlers and kids sleeping like that. Here they're refusing to sleep, rarely found in adults but in children. So there they won't sleep for very long because, you know, your body can't easily relax there. They're resisting. They've got their backs up to the world, so they're resisting. So sleepwalking, it is deemed to be associated with a desire to return to a place or a situation in where they felt secure. So there is an element of insecurity about it. We don't sleepwalk while we're dreaming. During World War II, there were many sleepwalking children walking around because their fathers were away. I know when I was a child, I used to do a lot of sleepwalking. Though I was living with a pedophile at the time, so I was feeling quite insecure. And I would get up and sleepwalk and just sit with my mother. And I would even eat in my sleep as well. Like, she would talk to me, eyes open, eating, but I would always be asleep. So that can happen, and that's probably a bit freaky. So the best thing is not really to wake them up, is just to put them back to bed and offer them reassurance. So it can be because there's anxiety, because they're feeling insecure, because, you know, they're wanting to feel safer, or, yeah, whatever it is. So sudden waking can cause anxiety as they become aware of the discordance between their mental processes and what the body's actually doing. I also remember waking up with mud on my feet, so I don't know, I used to go walkabout. Where I went, who knows? But at the time, you know, looking back on that time frame and that period of my life when I was doing it, you know, I was very unsettled and very insecure at that time. So as we talk about dark and sleep, let's also talk about light, because light is very much affected by people. And we, you know, we hear about SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder, so where people are in the dark too long. But we are also affected by light. And of course now we're not living, you know, we've got electricity. A lot of us live in built up areas, and there's street lights outside. So what's happening is we're not really exposed to lots of darkness. So when, you know, when we've got summer, there's lots of long days, there's lots of light and lots of food. And then in winter, we've got less food. So the body actually stores fat and carbohydrates. So we tend to crave food and eat food more in winter, and we all know that. In summer, you want to eat lighter food, and in winter, you want to eat more sort of carbs and comforting food. So this is a natural response. There's increased carbohydrate consumption in winter. This triggers insulin release and leptin resistance. So really we want to build up fat tissues so we can store fat and energy for winter and also keep us warm. So fat is very insulating. So yes, that is one effect that we have. The liver will be then activated to produce extra cholesterol using glycogen, which is stored sugar, which prevent the cell membranes from freezing. So what goes wrong? Winter never arrives as we stay up in winter with the lights on. So hence we can end up with light toxicity. So too much light, and this is, you know, we're not in the dark as much. We can have decreased melatonin, increased estrogen, increased testosterone, cortisol, and insulin. So once we start increasing those hormones, this can lead on to conditions like obesity, heart disease, stroke, mental illness, insomnia, snoring, sleep apnea, hyperactivity, and cancer. So it sounds quite dramatic, but, you know, we have come away from what, you know, we were used to, and having street lights is quite a new thing when we look on the whole scale of things. So we're not sort of living with the seasons as much. So a bit of dark is actually a good idea. So the biggest thing is the quality of our sleep. So it's really important that we have good sleep, and many of us are sleep deprived. And signs that you'll be looking at is snoring, sleep apnea, fatigue, irritability, daytime sleepiness, difficulty concentrating, confusion, weight gain, sugar cravings, addictive behaviours and depression. So these would all be things where you'd want to look at, you know, sleep and how sleep's affecting you and, you know, why that's important. The other thing to be mindful about is at certain times of the year we might want to sleep more or less. And also, you know, times of the year, temperatures, body changes. Like, you know, we know teenagers, they just love to sleep. Teenagers go through like a 3-year, 4-year hibernation period where you can't get them out of the room and you can't get them up in the morning and you can't get them to go to bed at night. So, you know, this is all part of the hormonal changes that's happening in the body as well. When we feel sick, we want to sleep more. So allow yourself the space to do that. You know, spend your time lying down and sleep. So the best thing to do would be to go to bed, you know, close the curtains, go in a dark environment, and actually go to sleep, rather than sitting on the couch watching the TV. And even a lot of people do that as well. They'll sit there on the couch, they're watching TV, they fall asleep, they wake up at 1 o'clock, you know, they're cold, they've been sitting in a chair, so you're not getting that good quality sleep. So as we grow older, sleep will become less and less deep. This can be related to a reduction in our melatonin production. It is the deep sleep where our body heals, repairs and regenerates, and you can achieve like a deep relaxation when we're meditating as well. Oh, excuse me. So the latter stages of the sleep cycle are crucial for recovery and for psychological well-being. So it's really important that we get some good quality sleep. And as I've said before, the body also secretes hormones. So how do we get refreshing and healing sleep? So set up a routine, get up and go to bed at the same time. You know, 10 o'clock I think is a good time to go to sleep. Between 10 and 11 would be the optimum, because then you're getting some of that good quality sleep, which is between 9 and 1 o'clock in the morning. Eat dinner early, don't have dinner too late. So no dinner after 7 o'clock, or, you know, definitely not 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. You want to eat early. You stop producing your enzymes at 7 p.m. So your body's not geared to be digesting food at 7 o'clock. So our best procreation time is between 7 and 9, and then sleeping from 9 to 5 a.m. is the ideal. So the earlier you can go to sleep, the better. And in this day and age of computers and work, you know, we come home from work, we can sit on the computer till 11 o'clock. You know, it's really a case of changing that habit and going to sleep maybe 2 hours earlier and getting out, because you'll do your most, you know, you'll be most efficient first thing in the morning. So 80% of growth hormone is essential for healing and immune activity is between 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock in the morning. That's the time you want to be getting your best sleep. So make sure it's dark, get rid of your LED alarm clock, get it free from noise, get away from meters, like electrical meters behind the back of you, mobile phones out of the room, TVs out of the room, computers out of the room, electric blankets. So all that EMF stuff is very much affected by that. So having your alarm clock radio by your head and the circuit board at the back is not a good idea. So making sure that your room, and if you can't avoid getting rid of the meter box, then paint that wall yellow and then paint over it white, because yellow protects against EMFs. But yes, get away from all that stuff. Okay, next slide. So avoid watching TV in bed, avoid cigarettes, coffee, stimulants 2 hours before bed. Take your medicines in the morning and at lunch, because that's when we do most of our absorption. Evening meal ideally is best being light, so try and reduce the heavy fried fatty foods or high starchy carbohydrate foods, because your body then basically, it spends, so the body can be rejuvenating and not digesting. So if we've got poor sugar metabolism, we can have poor sleep maintenance. A classic sign, I ask people to get an indication of their sugar metabolism is, you know, do you wake up to go to the toilet at night? Is it usually about 3 a.m.? In which case there is sugar instabilities going on. Avoid caffeine after lunch. Some people, though, have the opposite effect. They'll actually have a coffee because it will help them go to bed because they're so addicted to coffee, and caffeine is so rife in their system that it ends up having a negative feedback sort of effect. So also have lots of fruit. Avoid tyramine foods after 5 o'clock. And what do? We'll often have dinner and then later on we'll have some chocolate. So tyramine foods, that stops your dopamine being formed. So bananas, pizza, chocolate, pickles, salami, caviar beans, avocado, fermented yogurts, kefir and sauerkraut are part of that. Cheese, sour cream, fermented soy, yeast products including beer, wine and MSG. And again, what do people do? Predominantly at night they'll have beer and wine. So that's stopping your dopamine sort of being formed. Your dopamine helps you feel relaxed and chilled. So ideally have an alkalizing diet. Avoid alcohol at night. Drink some green tea and honey. That will help you sleep. It assists the liver to provide stable blood sugars throughout the night. Have your exercise 4 hours before going to bed. Use a wobble board 5 minutes for twice a day. 20 minutes resistance training, deep breathing, cross-calling, eye tracking and a figure of 8. So you want to be active. If you're not sleeping, then maybe you're not being active enough. So keeping yourself active and doing active things is very recommended. A warm bath as well will help increase your melatonin and help you sleep better. That's also going to help, and having some nice Epsom salt baths in there is going to be good. So ideally you want to do nose breathing when you sleep. So if there's any mucus issues or, you know, sinusitis, then that needs to be sorted out. So find someone to help you sort that out, and just taking anticatarrh is not going to help. There's often something upsetting the system and aggravating the system that needs to be addressed. If your partner does snore, then sleep elsewhere. If you're napping, go before 2 o'clock for less than 30 minutes or for 2 hours, because 2 hours is a whole sleep cycle and that can make you feel groggy. So less than 30 minutes or for a 2-hour period. So if you sleep for an hour, you can actually feel a bit more cranky when you wake up. Our optimum sleeping temperature is 19 degrees. These sleep studies have shown that. And things to help you sleep. So I do make a sleep tea, and I make a stressless tea. We get some really good results with the sleep tea. So things like hops, valerian, passion flower, Californian poppy, Jamaican dogwood are herbs that are very good for reducing and relaxing the nervous system. Hypnotics would be to help induce a sleep state. And then you've got tropho restorative herbs. So these are nourishing to the nervous system. St. John's wort, oats, skullcap and withania. And on the slide there I'll put some sheep, because you can count sheep to go to sleep. So let's recap. Sleep is very much connected to quite a few diseases. It helps control appetite. It comes in 4 stages. We can sleep in many different positions. We can easily obtain it. So, you know, making sure you're active, not eating too late at night, we've said, getting some good quality sleep, you know, not exercising too late, not having stimulants too late, and then having some support. So maybe some herbal support to help with that. So, are you ready for more? So, you know, be aware that if life can get better for you every day, and if you want to take charge of your life, then I can show you some ways to actually help this happen. So ways is to stay connected. I can send you information about the seminars I have. There'll be a slide coming up saying you can basically sign up to my newsletters. My newsletters let you know about blogs. You can attend one of our webinars or seminars. I've got lots of courses that you can learn about whole foods, or you can sign up for my Lift Off program. So if you want to change your life, there is basically only one way to do that, and that's to be educated. So you want to be informed, and then you have to start taking action. So only when we start taking action, start taking responsibility for our health and our well-being, will things then start to change. So just letting you know that I'm here to help you, I'm here to support you and to educate you. I want people to start waking up feeling great, empowered and alive. So you've learned quite a bit of information from this webinar, but if you want to achieve vibrant health and vitality, here's what you can do about it. And one way is to sign up for my Lift Off program. So this is basically a 7-week program where there are 7 one-on-one coaching sessions that I do with you. We can do face-to-face or we do it online. And we look at where you're at. We look at working through your weaknesses. We do a complete radionic hair analysis. We do a face analysis. We do a diet analysis. We do an exercise analysis. We do a lifestyle balance analysis. And then basically we find ways to help you get back on track and to keep staying on track. So if you want to know more, you can find out about our webinars. You can follow us on YouTube. There's a YouTube channel here. There's other like-minded information webinars there. Feel free to follow us on Vitae More Facebook page, and then you'll find out when, you know, new seminars are coming on and stay in loop there. Or visit my Lift Off program, excuse me, I've got hiccups now, landing page, and then check that out. So that's it. So I want to thank you very much for being a part of this webinar, and I hope you come and listen to some others. There's plenty more topics, with more coming online every week. So you have a fantastic life, and remember to enjoy and embrace life and stay happy. So bless you all. Bye-bye.